This event is being sponsored by Assange, Action for Assange DC, and Action for Assange, and we are also, I'm a member of Assange Defense Boston. So it's really a collaborative event to commemorate Julian Assange's 4th year detained, held as a prisoner in a maximum security prison in Belmarsh Prison in the UK. If your viewers get an opportunity to learn more about this, certainly the human side of it and what's been going on with Julian, there is a documentary that was produced by his brother, Gabriel Shipton, and it's called Ithaca, and it has been showing all over the country. So look in your social media accounts on Twitter, follow Julian Assange supporters, and you will see information about that. But basically, we are here today because he's been held for 4 years in Belmarsh Prison after being dragged out of the Ecuadorian embassy where he was seeking asylum at that time, because it was very clear that the United States had been targeting him for extradition. They have in fact continue to seek that. It's because Donald Trump had filed charges. President Obama did not. President Obama did see the wisdom of not filing charges against Julian Assange because he understood the implications it would have on our free press and democracy, when in fact Julian, who is a multi-award winning publisher, literally published the same information that the New York Times published, that the Guardian published, that I believe the Intercept published, Der Spiegel, and El País.
So right now, what are they holding him on?
Basically, they have charged him, President Trump charged him with violating the 1917 Espionage Act, which is really an extrajudicial misapplication of the law, because Julian Assange can't be guilty of treason even if he were guilty and his actions were actually valid, what they're accusing him of. He's not even a citizen of the United States, he's a citizen of Australia.
And they're holding him for treason in an English prison right now?
Correct. Because the British embassy, the British government, as you know, you don't have to do a lot of research to confirm, pretty much does what the United States says. So, they're a sovereign state, but, in matters of things certainly of geopolitical and foreign policy, I don't know how sovereign they are in terms of that. They are following to the T exactly what Donald Trump sought in his espionage charge. And sadly, even though Obama had the wisdom not to press charges against Julian Assange, President Biden, as of right now, and his DOJ, because it's his DOJ now, Merrick Garland, have continued to move forward with extradition, have no intentions, and just recently said they're continuing to press charges or continuing this case against Julian Assange. So today we went up on the Hill, a group of us, we lobbied a number of congressmen, congresspersons, and we had, I was actually impressed, we had fairly good reception from some key congressmen. Whether or not they're going to come out, it's going to really be up to them. As I stated when I met with them, the ones that we had the privilege of meeting with, they certainly don't want, if they're the Democrats, they don't want the GOP outflanking them on issues of free press and on protecting our democracy and the First Amendment. Moreover, I think everybody, both parties, need to consider what will happen when the international media descends on Washington, D.C. and Virginia, and they will be coming. If they get what they asked for and he is extradited, this will be a huge media circus. People are going to want to know, where does the Congress stand on this? Where does the Senate, where's your senator on this? And I'm a registered Democrat, and I voted for President Biden. I have some grave concerns about whether I can do that again. And I will not vote for Trump, but I will vote for any candidate who is going to protect our free speech and our First Amendment. So right now, I'm very concerned about how I'm going to exercise this at the ballot. But I know one thing: the lobbying will continue, the events will continue. We want now to hear from our legislators. They can hear from a million Suzanne Murphys. They can hear from a million, private citizens and voters. We now want to know, where do you stand on the issue of Julian Assange and press freedom? It's a very, very uncomfortable and problematic issue for them to say they want to persecute Julian Assange and prosecute him, because it's both. And yet they want Evan Gersevich, who the Russians are holding for espionage, freed. I mean, we have lost that moral authority by continuing to prosecute Julian Assange for espionage.
Now, a lot of people that support Julian Assange seem to also support Trump, but you're saying Trump's the one that pressed these charges. What's going on there?
It's weird, and I think, if anything, there's actually a positive takeaway from that they can distinguish between the party, the politician, and what's dangerous. I also think if it's an opportunity for Donald Trump to correct a wrong, not that he will, but I'd certainly give him props for that. And it's certainly an opportunity for those in the Republican Party not to get caught up in that dynamic, and to understand that they can undo this. Those that are not supportive of Donald Trump should really take a stand against what he did, against the issue. What they do, we all know that they're going to take a stand against Donald Trump, the person. But this is not even about Julian Assange. When I first got involved, I will tell you, I was lukewarm. I watched the issue for a while, and I thought I didn't know the man, so there was a lot of smear work that was done on him, disinformation, accusing him of hacking. Absolutely incorrect. He did not hack. Chelsea Manning, who admitted to and served time for leaking the information to Julian that he was indicted on.
And it's odd, because I think a lot of these leaks, they were like crimes that the government was committing.
They were crimes.
That's bizarre.
War logs, things that we had done. They weren't. The CIA testified in a Spanish court that the leaks never endangered anyone. Okay, so they were leaks. He also did significant redaction. He was working with the government actually to continue to redact the documents. But President Obama commuted the sentence and released Chelsea Manning. She was the one who leaked it. So it only makes sense. It's only the just thing to do for Julian to drop charges. But moreover, the bigger issue, whether you like Julian or not, and you like his persona or what you believe of him, it's not about Julian. It's not about the Democrats. It's not about the Republican. It's about preserving our First Amendment. It is literally the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, because it's the most important one. If Julian is extradited and he goes away for 175 years, it will be lights out. Really, lights out for our journalists. So they should be far more educated and far more concerned than the average person on the street. This is going to affect them very directly in our democracy.
Now, as we're wrapping up, if somebody wants to get in touch or follow more on this, do you have like a Twitter handle you'd like to give out or something?
Yeah, my Twitter is @SMurphySuzanne, and my profile says Irish Dimson, but that's my Twitter address. And also Assange Boston @gmail.com is also where you can email us at. I'm from Massachusetts, and I spent a lot of time visiting my delegation from Massachusetts up on the Hill today. But follow us on, Assange Defense is like the main group out of the UK, but there's chapters all over the country. Assange Boston is the group that I'm closely affiliated with. If you DM me, if you want information, you want to know about how to get involved, please reach out to me. I'm happy to do it.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.